and welcome to part 3 of my October thriller readathon. So I will link in the description the videos that I did for books 1 and 2 that I read for this. We are now on to book 3, which will be 13 by Steve Kavanaugh. The premise of this book is quite a bit different than the first two, so I'm hoping that I will like it more because the first one that I read was okay and the second one I did not like, so fingers crossed. The premise, this is like a courtroom thriller. The premise of this book is that a famous actor has been accused of killing his wife, so he is on trial for her murder. But what we know from the very beginning, and what is actually printed on the cover of the book, is that he is not the murderer. The murderer is a member of the jury for this trial. So what makes me nervous about this is that part of what I didn't like about the first two books, which were The Family Upstairs and Before She Knew Him, Before He Knew Her, was that they didn't feel like thrillers. There was nothing, there was like, I was like, what are we really waiting for here? So I'm worried that because we know who didn't do it and who did, although to be fair, I'm not sure if we know which juror it is or if it's just a member of the jury, or we know specifically, I'm not sure yet, but we know basically who it is in this one, so that makes me a little nervous. But I am hopeful that like the setting of a trial will mean that things are constantly revealed. And then plus, we also have to, I assume, at some point, someone has to figure out who the real murderer is. So I'm hoping that is thrilling. I'm hoping the thriller is actually thrilling this time. So wish me luck for book 3. So it's the next morning. I'm not feeling great today, but I'm going to try and read. So I got about 30 pages into 13 last night, and I DNF'd this, meaning did not finish. So I read 30 pages. I decided it's just not for me. So I figure I can tell you what happens in the first 30 pages, and it won't really count as the spoiler because it's the first 30 pages. It just, this is a little too cold, a little too gritty for me. So the killer in this one has killed 2 people already within the first 30 pages. Both of them are shot with a gun at close range with a silencer. One of them, he just leaves their body on the sidewalk, and the other one, he dissolves in their bathtub with lye. And I said, this is not for me, so I set it down. So instead, today I'm going to be starting Her Pretty Face by Robyn Harding. We're going to try this one. This is one that I heard of maybe a year ago-ish, a little while ago, and then forgot what it was called, heard about it again, and said, oh yeah, that one. So this one is about 2 women. They both have young sons who go to the same school, so the boys become friends, so they become friends. And I think it's sort of like a dual timeline where it's the present day with them and dealing with, it's like one of those fancy private schools. So it's the stuff that's going on there. But then it's the other part of it is like in the past where like we find out that one of the women is a murderer. But I think the thing is that you don't know which of the women's past you're seeing. So you have to kind of figure out, like, okay, who are they talking about? So I'm hoping I'm hoping I like this one. I'm hoping that, like, because, like, I came across it again, it'll be like, oh, yes, like, I was meant to read this. So I hope I like it. Let's try, at least. I'm now a third of the way through Her Pretty Face by Robyn Harding. I keep forgetting her name. And so this one is mostly what I thought, but so it is about 2 women who are friends. They both have sons. The sons are older than I thought they were. They are 11, so like 6th grade, I think. So it's sort of, the perspectives in this are interesting because there are three perspectives, and they are one of the women, the other woman's daughter, and then from a certain number of years in the past, the brother of a brother whose sister was killed. And it seems to be setting up that one of the two women was like a witness to that sister's murder. I mean, or, well, possibly was more than a witness, but I guess that remains to be seen. So, because they both are set up to have like somewhat questionable, somewhat dark pasts. So I mean, if this girl who witnessed this murder is one of these two women, who I mean, I assume that's the case. We're not sure which one of the two it is. And so again, in this book, I'm liking the characters. I'm liking the different perspectives. I like for the most part at least, the marriages between the two women. Not, they each have husbands. But again, very slow first third. There's no threat of anything. Like, you're sort of trying to figure out, like, oh, which of these two could this other woman be? But that's not really a big deal, because, like, it's in the past, and, like, there's nothing so far from the past that has come up, although that might not be the case. I do have a guess. But I don't want to spoil anything. So, but it's not, it doesn't feel thrillery. And I feel like I feel like thrillers should feel like thrillers most of the way through. And I get that, like, I'm hoping it picks up. So, okay. Finally. All right. So I'm a little past halfway, and we have figured out which one of the two is the girl from the story from the past. And so I'm a little surprised we found out so early, but then the chapter, the last, like, 2 sentences of that chapter, I'm like, what? And I don't know if it is as big of a what as I'm thinking, or if it's a smaller what, but finally, this is what I wanted. Well, that's disappointing. Like, the big, like, oh my gosh, at the end of the last chapter, dumb. It was stupid. Okay, so I've got just under 100 pages left, and I'm pretty sure that, like, the thing that I had guessed at before is the case, but I'm not quite sure what's gonna come of that, because I think what I thought was gonna happen with that is not gonna happen with that. But, so I'm still not sure where that's gonna go. But, so now, of the two women, so we know which one of them is involved with the case from the past, and now the other one knows about it. But I don't know what she does with that information. So I'm not sure where this is going. I don't know. Still though, however, like, I had that one moment of, like, oh, this is exciting, but we're back to, like, well, let's just follow the story. Like, I'm hoping things get thrilling again. It is supposed to be a thriller. So I'm now at 25 pages left, and nothing super exciting has happened yet still. There's still one more reveal to be revealed, but it's so obvious that I can't reasonably say that it could even count as a twist, because it's like, I would be shocked if anyone was surprised. And, like, there's not a chance that I'm wrong about this. If I am, I'll do kudos, but I'm not wrong. And then, but still, okay, so we have another instance of last line of a chapter. Intriguing. So, I'm hoping for a strong finish. Is it possible I was wrong? Was it too obvious? Although, I could still be right, but someone could be lying. In which case, I would still be right. So. Or I was wrong. Assuming people are telling the truth, it appears I was wrong. I am surprised. I was wrong. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know. Oh my god. Okay. What? I forget her name again. Robyn Harding. Good job. You got me. I've now finished the book, so my overall thoughts are that it was okay. Other than that last 10% where I was honestly surprised. I guess it was too obvious, which should have been a tip to me, but I guess I was just not as impressed with the rest of the book where I was like, well, it's gonna be the obvious thing. It was not. It was not. I'll give it full credit for that one point. Overall, it was okay. Again, it did not really feel like a thriller. So, what have I learned from this? Because, again, part of why I'm doing this is to learn specifically what I like and don't like about thrillers so that hopefully, in the future, apparently, I can do a better job at picking out the ones that I like. So in this one, I liked that the the relationship between the main characters was friends rather than their spouses. I liked that the different perspectives were people of different ages. I thought that was interesting. But again, I think what I did not like was I assume pacing is the word. Like there was not enough twists and turns. There was not enough excitement. It wasn't thrilling. That's all I want. If I can read one completely thrilling thriller during this whole October thriller readathon project, I will be happy. That's the bar I'm setting for myself now. Just one. I just want one.